Hello and welcome in. My name's Tom, your neighborhood butcher. Today we're going to go over your local grocery stores. I want to start with going over Food for Less, Smith's, Vaughn's, Smart and Final, Stater Bros Market, and Food City. These are mainly Arizona, Nevada, and California local grocery stores. That'll give us a good variety of stores to go over. I believe in shopping locally to save money. I think that you can go to a number of small local stores and save a lot of money on your monthly grocery bill. These stores still rely on that hot front page item to try to draw customers into their store. And it's that hot item is a very low gross profit item for them, so they want you to in their stores so that you'll spend money in other places in their stores to make more gross profit for them. And I believe if you shop around, you can really save quite a bit. Let's start with Food for Less today. And Food for Less has a pretty damn good deal on tri-tip roast. Tri-tip roast is one of my absolute favorite roast to put on the grill. Nice cap of fat on the bottom. It has that lovely fat that runs through the grains of that tri-tip. And it is just a really good roast and steak in general. And I truly believe at $4.99 a pound for a tri-tip roast, man, that is a smoking deal. I don't care who you are. That's every bit as good as a ribeye steak, in my opinion, the tri-tip roast or tri-tip steak. Food for Less is a Kroger company. So it's part of that Kroger chain, but still has a very local feel to it, because each one of the Kroger stores actually still appeals to those local markets and tries to compete on a weekly basis on their front page items to try to draw you in their store. Let's keep rolling down this ad to see what else we have. Looks like they're also rolling Sanderson Farms wings at $2.49 a pound. That's not a bad deal at all. And then tenderloins as well at $2.99 a pound. So a wing and a tenderloin, chicken breast, one boneless, one bone in, at $2.99, $2.49 a pound. That's not a bad deal at all, and one definitely worth taking advantage of. DiGiorno pizzas. This is part of their digital ad. Remember, when you're buying a digital ad from a Kroger company, like Food for Less, remember it's on the first transaction. So if you really want to take advantage of that deal, you need to buy a limit, the max limit, which is usually 5. And in this case, this is the deal. So $3.99 on DiGiorno pizzas, that's a really good deal. And normally you'd see like a Red Baron pizza for, say, $3.99 each. And we all know that Red Baron's quality has went down. I'm sorry, it's a fact, unfortunately. And then next in line, you have your Farmer John sausages at 99 cents a box. That is a great deal. Those are normally $2 a box, so that's half off basically. And a damn good savings. I love Farmer John sausages. It's one of the best sausages on the market, in my opinion. And then you have blueberries in the 18-ounce pack for $2.99 each. And for blueberries, man, that's a good deal. You can't go wrong with that. You got mangoes, jumbo mangoes, 4 for $5. And then you also have fresh sirloin chops, $2.99 a pound for a sirloin chop. Sirloin chop, I love to put a sirloin chop on the grill. It has a little more fat to it, or it's a little juicier, I should say. Not as much fat, but it's just a juicier piece of meat than, say, your blade or your loin, where the blade will have too much fat. The sirloin doesn't have as much fat, but still you get that nice juiciness on the grill when you cook that up. Let's see what else we have here. Coca-Cola products in the 6-pack, $3.49. And then you also have your Ruffles, Doritos, and Fritos 4 for $10, when you buy 4. So some decent deals that Food for Less is running, and definitely competitive. Let's look at this here. Save more with our quality brands. So these are just some basic Kroger brands that you can save money on. $5.99 a pound for Kroger bacon. I'd rather see that in the $3 to $4 a pound range. But $5.99 isn't too bad anyway. So let's keep rolling down this and see if we can save some more money. Lay's products at $2.99 on the digital. Dreyer's products at $2.99 on the digital deal. Not bad at all. Let's keep rolling down this ad. We got peaches at $2.49. We got a baby back rib at $3.99 a pound. $3.99 is kind of an industry standard as far as price. You know, for that baby back rib, $3.99 is just a pretty good, marketable, decent deal. Then we have 3140 count raw white shrimp for $12 a bag. That's not the best deal. And then your Heritage Farm patties for $5.99. Frozen. That's a frozen product, so don't think that that's a fresh. Let's keep rolling down this ad a little bit more. We have strawberries for $2.99 a pound in the 1 pound package. It's not too bad. I've seen them cheaper, but if you're looking for a decent deal on strawberries, there you go. Let's roll down this ad a little bit more and see what else we have. Mainly when I go over these ads, I'm mainly going over like soda deals, meat deals, especially the protein, and then your produce deals. I'm just taking a look at most of these things that really stick out and are a good savings in my opinion. All right, let's switch over to the Smith's ad. Now, Smith's this week is running a buy one, get one free on Tyson boneless, skinless breast. And that's pretty good. So you're going to get the breasts and the tenderloins, or drumsticks, thighs, and wings bone in for buy one, get one free. So almost their entire line of chicken is buy one, get one. That's a darn good deal. Remember, when you're dealing with buy one, get ones, take a look at the regular retail to see where your savings is going to kick in. Remember, you cut that regular retail in half, and that's your buy one, get one, basically. We have medium avocados and large mangoes, 2 for $3, so $1.50 each. That's not bad at all. Here we go. In the tube, the Kroger 1 pound tube, 80% lean ground beef, 80% meat, 20% fat, at $3.79 a pound. That's not bad. That's a pretty good deal for a tubed hamburger like that. Then we have Ballpark meat franks, bun length and regular, and your Hillshire Farm line of lunch meats for just $2.99 each. And that's a decent deal for a good Ballpark hot dog. Ballpark's still one of the better hot dogs in the market. Here we go, a mix and match deal. Buy 2, get 3 free on Keurig, McCafe, and Green Mountain products. Man, I tell you, most buy 2, get 3 free. That's a pretty smoking deal, you guys, and you can't really go wrong with that sort of savings. We go through these ads almost every single week, and every single competitor usually has a buy 2, get 2 free on soda, and this week is no different. We have our 6 packs of Coke and Pepsi products, buy 2, get 2 free. Take a look at the regular retail and see what that savings is going to be. Let's roll down this ad a little bit more. Or wheat bread, buy 1, get 1. Sargento and Tillamook cheese, buy 1, get 1, and Thomas's English muffin bagels and muffins for buy 1, get 1 as well. Man, these are all decent deals. You just got to buy a little bit more. Here's some weekly digitals. Smith's is part of the Kroger family. So again, this weekly digital deal is going to be within the first transaction. You need to buy that limit of 5 so that you can take advantage of this price. And you have their Kroger sausage line at $3.99 each. This is going to be their bulk ground sausage and their tube sausage as well. That's not too bad. Here's a 2 pound thing of strawberries, $2.99 each. That's $1.50 a pound for per pound on strawberries, and that's a pretty damn good savings, and I'm real happy with that. Half gallon milk, $1.39 a half gallon. Not terrible. DiGiorno pizzas, $3.99. That's a darn good price. And we talked about, the quality of, say, a Red Baron in comparison to a DiGiorno. I believe DiGiorno is a much better quality pizza for that same price range that you'd find a Red Baron pizza in. Let's roll down this ad just a little bit more, and woo! Probably the best deal of this whole darn ad are these sea scallops. This is a U10 sea scallop for $9 a bag. $9 a pound. You haven't seen a sea scallop for $9 a pound in a long, long time. And that is one worth rolling into your local Smith's to take advantage of. It looks like you can also get a coconut crusted shrimp as well. I believe that is like a 2 pound bag for $9 a bag. That's awesome. That's an awesome deal. Man, if you're looking for that cookie or Chips Ahoy or Oreo, $2.49 each. That's a smoking deal for cookies if you have that sweet tooth and want to take advantage of that. Let's keep rolling down this ad. Save more on digital coupons. These are odds and digital coupons. Take a look at this blue POS here, and this is what you want to be looking for when you're in the stores, you know, to signify these products that are on this deal. Let's keep rolling down this thing just a little bit more to see what else we can save. So we got pork spare ribs at $2.49 a pound. That's an okay price. Sara Lee products, buns and hot dog buns and hamburger buns at $2.99. That's not too bad. And then you have Ruffles, Doritos, and Fritos, 4 for $10. But remember, you have to buy 4 bags of Doritos, Fritos, or Ruffles to take advantage of that savings. Let's keep rolling down this thing. So we have Kroger cheeses, 2 for $6, $3 a pack. That's not bad. That's a pretty decent deal. And then if you're a Boost member, remember, Boost memberships are part of their yearly membership. And you'll find quite a few deals on these items. What's cool about these Boost items, a lot of the times this pricing, if you really take advantage of this pricing correctly, it will pay for that Boost membership yearly subscription within just a few purchases if you really take advantage of these. I mean, mustard for 99 cents, St. Louis style ribs for $2.49. Remember, the St. Louis style rib is that big spare rib minus the brisket bone, so it's that beautiful center cut of the spare rib, and is with hardly any waste on it. So that's a really good rib if you're trying to throw something on the smoker or slow cook a rib. St. Louis style is the one that you want to do. Let's keep rolling down this thing to see if there's any more good deals to take advantage of. There's the blueberry deal. We've already looked at that. And then we have, what is this, boneless beef bottom round for $7.49 a pound. That's just an average Joe price. We're going to look in some other ads, and we're going to see cheaper prices on roasts. But they're throwing you a bone on the roast line. That's not too bad. All right, here we go. Kroger bacon, $4.99. Both of those are the 1 pound variety, which is perfect. $4.99 is a pretty decent price for that bacon. 2 for $6 on smoked sausages and their home style mashed potatoes. Kroger mashed potatoes aren't quite as good as, say, the Bob Evans are. So at $3, that's not too bad for the quality of that product. Bob Evans, you can't go wrong, guys. You know, I can't hardly make them better than Bob Evans does it. We have a 5 days of deals, and these are $5 deals. You got Monday's pizza, Tuesday's salad, Wednesday's sushi, Thursday's whole fryer, and Friday donut day. All right, let's keep looking and seeing if we have some better deals in here. Kroger peeled and deveined cooked shrimp, 16-20 count for $6.99 a pound. That's not too bad for a cooked larger shrimp like that, $6.99 a pound. That's one definitely worth picking up. And then one of my favorite chips. I love this line of chips right here as far as for chips and salsa. $1.79 a bag. Not bad at all. All right, let's keep rolling down this thing. And that is it for the Smith's ad. So let's see what we have next. Next, we're going to be looking at Smart and Final. Smart and Final is starting their ad off with a $2.99 a pound boneless, skinless breast. And then we're also looking at a large cherry for $3.99 a pound. This $2.99 a pound, in my opinion, is kind of an industry standard. $2.99 a pound for boneless, skinless breast chicken is, you know, that's where chicken should be across the market, in my opinion. So this is just a good competitive pricing on chicken. And then we have their ground turkey sold in the 3-pound package for $2.99 a pound. That's not bad at all. That's actually really cheap for ground turkey. Anything in that $3 or under is a smoking deal for ground turkey. Then we have a little produce deal over here, 2 for $3 on your Hass avocados, limit 10. $1.50 an avocado isn't bad. 88 cents a pound on your Roma tomatoes. 79 cents on onions, yellow onions. Man, that's a good deal. Gala apples for 99 cents. Wow, not too bad at all. Um, and then let's go down and look at another meat product here. We have our Bar S Jumbo Franks, and I believe this is a 16-ounce pack for $1.25. That's pretty good, even for Bar S Franks, $1.25. And then look at this little deal right here. These are everyday low prices. You want to look for this POS tag in your store to be able to identify where these are. And you're looking at beef loin flat meat for carne asada. I love the flat meat. It actually is a really good piece for carne asada. It's every bit as good as skirt steak, if not a little bit better than skirt steak. And I believe it has less waste on it too. And it's just a little bit thicker than skirt steak. And it's just such a good piece of meat. And for $7.99 a pound, I want to say normal retail on that is around $10.99. So that's a pretty decent deal for a nice piece of marinating meat. And then you have a 73% lean ground beef over here, which isn't lean, it's 73%, which means 27% fat. But at $3.49 a pound, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. Buy 4 or more, save instantly. So look for this POS to, in your store when you're shopping to try to take advantage of these. Buy 4 of these products and save more. Let's keep rolling down this ad to see what else we have here. Desserts and diplomas, often odds and ends that they're offering for that. Here we go. Foster Farms whole frying chicken for $1.49 a pound. For a whole frying chicken, that's not bad. That's not bad. We'll take that, especially Foster Farms is an all-natural product. You know, no injections, no hormones, and just a good natural chicken product. That's a good one. And then we have pork cushion meat for $2.99 a pound. So this cushion meat is actually from the front leg of the pig, and it's called the picnic roast. And normally when you buy this whole in the bag, it actually has the skin on it and a pretty big cap of fat around the whole leg. And if this is truly where they pulled all the bone out of it and they've taken the skin and all the fat on, and you're buying just a couple nice pieces of this cushion meat, it is a really good meat, nice and tender. It's going to be the leaner version to your pork shoulder. Remember, your pork shoulder is this, and then your picnic is going to be the front arm of that pig. And that's not bad. Not bad at $2.99 a pound. And these are just some meat and seafood deals, you know. You got 31 40-count shrimp for $5.99 a pound. And then you got swahi for $9.99 for a 2-pound bag. $5 a pound for swahi isn't too bad, even frozen. So there's some decent deals. Some decent deals we take to take advantage of. See this buy 4, save 4. Look for that POS. You know, all those products will apply that have that POS on their tag. And that's about it. And that's it for our Smart and Final ad. So let's roll into Stater Bros Market. And Stater Bros, when I lived in California years ago, you know, it was the local grocery store that me and my father went to when I was younger. And I think they have a really good reputation and are very, you know, small local company. And I think they run a good set of pricing. And they're, of course, trying to pull you in their store with a really hot deal. $8.99 a pound on a bone-in New York strip. That's a pretty decent deal in today's market. Not the best, not the worst. You know, normal price on this is going to be in that, you know, $10.99 to $12.99 a pound range. So you're taking about $4 off a pound, you know, on the bone-in New York strip. And it is a choice product, which is a good thing. And then you have, here we go, a nice roast deal. You're going to have a beef boneless chuck roast or steak for $5.99 a pound. That is a smoking deal for a roast, especially a chuck roast in today's market. The days of seeing those $3.99 a pound and $2.99 a pound chuck roast deals, I believe, are just about over. Very rarely are they going to give back their gross profit once they take it from you. And then here we have a nice tri-tip roast at $5.99 a pound. We did see at another ad that tri-tip roast was $4.99 a pound. And I want to say that was at the Food for Less. So $5.99 a pound, though, is still a very good competitive price. Depends on how much they trim that piece of meat, you know, is the $4.99 fully encapsulated in fat, and is the $5.99 a pound one where they take the top of the, you know, take the fat off the top of the meat and leave that fat on the bottom. If they're taking the fat off for you at $5.99 a pound, that is a very, very nice price for that piece of meat, because the tri-tip can be almost fully encapsulated in fat if they go with those, if you're buying the untrimmed version of that. Gala apples, Fuji apples at 99 cents, mangoes at 99 cents, bagged salad 2 for $5, $2.50 a bag, and then we also have Cheetos and Frito products at $2.49 when you buy 4. Here we go, Pepsi 2 liters at $1.49. That is just a good everyday price, you guys. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. Let's slide down this ad a little bit more. Here's a 12 to 16 ounce pack of bacon for $5.99. We talked about that. We'd like at least our store-bought bacon to be at least a little bit cheaper than that. I would say in that $3 to $4 a pound range. So, you know, it's not terrible. Here we go. Buy 2, get 1 free on your water. That one's okay. Let's keep rolling down this ad. Buy 2, get 1 free on Ruffles and Tostitos. And then $5.99 a 12-pack on Coca-Cola products. And that's a pretty decent deal as well. Gatorade and Rockstars at 99 cents. I mean, a Rockstar normally is around $2.49 each. So at 99 cents, man, that is a pretty smoking deal. One you can definitely take advantage of if you're a Rockstar fan. Let's keep rolling down this ad and see what else Stater Bros is running. Let's see here. Budding meat for $3.99, not too bad. Digital deal. These are our digital savings. Life cereal and Captain Crunch for $1.99 a box. Depends on the size of that box too. Looks like 11.4 to 13 ounce, so it's a little bigger box, probably the medium-sized box for $1.99. That's still a pretty good deal. Pretty good deal for, you know, a box of cereal at $1.99. And Colgate toothpaste for 99 cents. Shit, I haven't bought a thing of toothpaste at 99 cents forever, unfortunately. And that's a pretty decent price. But remember, that's the digital deal, so you have to go and download their digital product. What do we have here? 73% lean ground beef, which we all know 73% is not lean. 27% fat at $4.99. And then we also have a bone-in chuck. So USDA Choice Chuck bone-in flanken-style ribs and short ribs. I apologize, I did not read through that whole thing. Flanken-style ribs and short ribs at $7.99 is a pretty okay price. It's competitive. Let's go with that for Stater Brothers. It's a pretty competitive one. Then you got Chuck taco meat as well for $6.99 a pound. That's okay. Let's see what else we have. There's that picnic-style pork shoulder roast at $1.99 a pound. Remember we saw the cushion meat in the last ad, and that's the same piece of meat right there, but this is the whole version of it in the bag. $3.99 a pound on your boneless pork loin. That's a pretty good deal on just an everyday. That's a very competitive price on a pork loin. Certified Angus brand. This is a beef flat brisket. Man, for a brisket, $8.99. That's a little pricey, unfortunately. And let's see. And then we have catfish fillet at $7.99. That's a pretty decent price. And then tilapia at $12.99 a pound bag. It's 32 ounces of tilapia for $12.99. All right, let's keep rolling down this ad. And I believe that's all for the Stater Brothers ad. In general, just a very competitive ad with a pretty nice front page item on it, you know, in the tri-tip and the New York strip and the chuck roast. Pretty darn good prices on those pieces of meat if you're looking to throw something on the barbecue today. All right, let's hop into the Albertsons Vons ad. Vons is an affiliate of Albertsons and their company group, and you know, here we are. We're loyal to the local. We got cherries. Everybody and their brother is running cherries. They're in season. $3.99 a pound is definitely within the industry standard of pricing, and that's a pretty good deal. We have yellow nectarines and peaches for $1.49 a pound, and that is a pretty good deal as well. Signature Farms whole frying chicken, drumsticks, and thighs at $1.49 a pound. You know, that's a good 50 75 cents a pound, savings, and that's not too bad. Signature Farms, 85% lean ground beef at $3.99 a pound. This is a digital coupon. The cherries were a digital coupon, and the peaches and the nectarines were a digital deal as well. But at $3.99 a pound for 85% lean ground beef, even in the square like that, that's a pretty good one. I would buy that. I love 85%. To me, it's the classic hamburger for making burgers out of. 15% fat, 85% meat. And just not as much grease, but yet you still got a good flavor there from the fat. Chuck roast or petite sirloin steak, at $5.99 a pound. That is just a competitive price. Not only are you getting a roast to be able to throw in the crock pot, you're also being able to get a petite sirloin, which is just an okay steak, but it's still good to be able to throw on the grill. At $5.99 a pound. Man, you really can't go wrong. You just can't go wrong. We got Fritos, Lay's, and Cheetos at $2.49. Not bad at all. And here we are, Pepsi and Coke products. Buy two, get two free. What do we talk about? Every single company is running some sort of buy two, get two free on soda products. And you just need to look at the regular retail to see if you're getting a good deal on that buy two, get two products. Here's General Mills, Honey Nut Cheerios for $1.99. This is a mix and match deal. You want to look for this POS to be able to take advantage of those deals. $2.99 on Oreos. I believe you saw Oreos and Chips Ahoy for $2.49 in another ad. So you can save. You can nickel and dime here and there if you slide around to these different stores and pick up on their good deals. Let's keep rolling down this ad. See, pick 4 or more and save. Look for this sort of POS here. And all the different products that are involved with that line, and you're going to find some decent deals in here. $2.99 on pepperoni. Man, that's a pretty good deal. Just not bad in general, but look for the POS to make sure you're taking advantage of that. Here we go, $5 Fridays. And you got Chili Verde, El Pastor, $5 on blueberries, 18-ounce pack. Many Coke products, Pepsi products, $5 each. Doritos, 2 for $5, so $2.50 a bag on Doritos. And then you also have $5 on your Black Label Hormel bacon, and then some other varieties in there for that $5. Hormel, usually that original Black Label is a 16-ounce pack, so at $5 each, that's not too bad. You'd like to see that around $3.99, but at $5, it's not too bad. Hormel is a very good brand of bacon. Here they're trying to make an upcharge off you from the $5.99 front page Chuck ad. They're running a Chuck steak thin cut at $7.99, so it's an upcharge for them cutting that steak for you. Here's a marinated tri-tip Bill Bailey's at $9.99. If you want something already marinated and ready to go in the cryo vac, $9.99 isn't too bad. Kingsford, Kansas City style pork ribs at $9.99 each. That's a pretty good deal for an already marinated, ready to go rib. Why not? Why not? Jenny-O at $6.99. Mix and match, 4 for $5 on Farmer John sausages. So $1.25 a pack. I believe we saw them at 99 cents elsewhere, but that's a good competitive price in the market. Red and green grapes at $3.99. That's a pretty good deal, you guys. Pretty good deal indeed. Let's keep rolling down this ad and see what else, that they have to offer. All right, that looks like about it for the Vons ad. So let's roll into our last ad, and this is going to be Food City. This is a local Arizona company, and right off the bat, they're running a 3-day sale, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, $2.99, 73% lean ground beef. 18 cents a pound on a seedless watermelon. Wow, that's a great price. And then a whole host of other prices, $9.99 on beer. That's not bad at all. Food City, here we go. Boneless beef top round steak at $4.99 a pound. Top round steak is a decent piece of meat. I wouldn't call it a grilling meat. You definitely need to marinate it. You need to do something with it. This steak could be cut into chop suey, could be cut into stir fry, could be cut into stew meat, a lot of different things like that. This is a great piece of meat for like classic Swiss steak. If you want to produce your own cube steak, for chicken fried steak, top round steak would be good for that as well. Looks like you have pork country style ribs at $1.59 a pound. I tell you, under $2 a pound for a country style rib or a pork shoulder. That is a smoking deal for that sort of meat. $2.29 a pound on leg meat, so I'm guessing it's thighs for that price. $2.29 a pound for boneless thighs. That's a good price. That's a very good price. And then here's your digital deal at your Food City, and it looks like 99 cents a pound on your split breast chicken. That's gonna be skin on, bone on. I love grilling these skin on, bone on breasts because, man, that meat still stays juicy. You can burn that skin. You can kind of, it just really keeps the meat within the skin and that bone, nice and juicy. And I think that is the best way to grill a piece of boneless, skinless breast chicken with the skin on it, with the bone on it. And at 99 cents a pound, boy, you just can't go wrong. Holy shit. A 10-pound bag of potatoes for $1? God, do you know what you can do with potatoes? You can do everything with potatoes. That is a smoking deal right there. You got to roll into Food City and get a 10-pound bag of potatoes at $1. Wow. 2 pounds for $1 on cabbage. Three avocados for 99 cents. Man, that's a great deal too on avocados. You may try and make that avocado toast, and you can't go wrong with that. $3.99 a pound on Lay's, or $3.99 a bag on Lay's products, and that's okay. Buy two, get one free on 2-liter bottles, Coca-Cola, and that's just an okay price. Here we go. Cross rib, got cross-cut beef shank at $3.49 a pound. Beef shank is like the best piece of meat to do soups out of because you still have the marrow in there, and that basically is the calf of that cow. And that is a really good piece of meat. Now you're going to get that lovely marrow bone, which everybody's saying that marrow is really, really good for you. And if you do it with the meat, boy, you just can't go wrong. Make your own soups, your own beef soup out of beef shank and bananas. 2 pounds for $1. Man, that's a great deal as well. Boy, roll into Food City for the savings. Chicken leg quarters, which is going to be the thigh drumstick attached, at 89 cents a pound. That is a very, very good deal. And a pork sirloin chop, bone in, at $1.39 a pound. Boy, Food City is throwing some really good meat deals at you. You just cannot go wrong. Here's that shank again, $3.49 a pound. And then flat meat. We saw flat meat at another store at $7.99 a pound, and here it is at $10.99 a pound. Flat meat is just an amazing piece of meat to make for carne asada. I believe it's just a little thicker than skirt steak, and is every bit as tender, and it's just going to have a little more substance to it. It's going to be like, rather than a super thin piece of carne asada, it's going to be a little thicker piece of carne asada. So you can't go wrong with that flat meat. But at $10.99, I don't know about that. I think I'd go to the other place for $7.99 a pound. And this is something you don't see often. You just good old-fashioned pork carnitas stew meat. And this pork is going to be for carnitas, but God, you can do a lot of different things with pork stew, and at $2 a pound. What are we talking about here? And man, that's a great deal. Here's some produce deals. 69 cents a pound on red onions. 69 cents a pound on orange, gold, green, and red bell peppers. Man, Food City is knocking it out of the park, you guys. Not bad at all. 16.20 count easy peel shrimp, so at least it's deveined. You got to peel it and it'll have the tail on it. But at $5.99 a pound for a 16.20 count shrimp. Remember that 16.20. The larger that number is, should say the larger the number is, the smaller the shrimp. The lower the number is, the larger the shrimp. So that's a pretty good price for that size of shrimp. And then there's a whole tilapia at at $2.69 a pound. Man, that's a pretty good savings as well, you guys. You really can't go wrong. Jimmy Dean bacon. That's just a 12-ounce packet, $5.49. That's not the best deal. I think there's better ones out there. But that's about it for Food City. And this is my local breakdown of, you know, you got California stores, Nevada stores, and Arizona stores in this breakdown to kind of tri-state, you know, local outlook at, you know, trying to save money in these markets. And I love breaking down these ads for you. You guys, I appreciate you spending time with me, and I hope you'll come back next week to hear my breakdowns of these stores again. Remember, like, subscribe, and if you'd like, I have a membership. If you love this content, subscribe, sign up for a membership, become a member, support, you know, my brand. And thank you guys. I do truly appreciate you spending time with me, and hope you come back next week to spend a little more time with me and save money with Tom, your neighborhood butcher. Thank you. Appreciate you. Bye now.